Wow, that was close. I'm Mega Monkey, I'm the driver of E3 here on the left, and now I'm going to do a step-by-step commentary of the two runs, comparing them and seeing where I was faster, he was faster, just little things, all the little details about the run that aren't obvious at the first glance. Anyway, so let's get into it right now. We're about to start, go, and immediately there's already a first difference we can spot, being the two cars and their suspension setups. It's very easy to tell when they're lined up side by side like this, and you can see it right there. You can see I'm looking at my car here on the left, watching it squat as we accelerate. Whabam! The rear drops significantly. It's a little bit harder to tell on the right car since it's just outside of frame, but if we just play it back and forth a couple times, looking at the left, looking at the right, you can see the GTS on the right is dropping less. So it has, what this means is the dampers, or the shock absorbers in this car, are slightly stiffer at low speed compression than in my car here. So I've got a slightly softer rear damper setting than the GTS here. And that's going to lead to a little bit more weight transfer for me, meaning I've got a tiny bit more grip I shouldn't say grip, I've got more weight pushing down onto the rear tires here, just a tiny bit. And then they do the typical GR Yaris thing, they'll squat down and just boost it out of the gate there. And if we stop here again, you can see, if we look at the rear wheel here, or actually if you look at the fender to wheel clearance gaps, you can see that my front is lifting up a fair bit. His is lifting up as well. I'm not sure how much more. But again, another thing we can see is the guard gap here. I've got a little bit more compression here again. What this means is that I believe I've got slightly stiffer rebound. Yeah, either way, it's very close. A little bit hard to tell. I believe the front is extending a little bit more, which means my front shock absorbers have slightly softer rebound settings. But the other thing that's more important is the position of the wheel here. You can see the center of my wheel. The camera is in the same position for both runs. The wheel being here in the middle and his wheel being ahead slightly. It's just my wheel is on line with this flagpole here, and he's ahead slightly. So he's gained maybe 5 or 10 centimeters lead here out of the gate. And I believe that's mostly due to this being automatic and having the slightly more horsepower being the GTS, which is the 2024 onwards model. So they get a little bit of a power upgrade there, and obviously automatic transmission. So that means you can accelerate in a straight line a little bit faster than I can with my older Rallye. Anyway, let's continue going forward a bit. I'm using the mouse tool to wind time. I'm not playing it specifically. If we go to about here, we can stop it again. Ooh, okay, so I've gained about a mouse cursor of width there. So off the line, he was a tiny bit quicker, but I've managed to gain that back. Why that's happened, I'm not entirely sure. That could be due to subtle differences with because I've got an extra oil cooler, so my engine runs slightly cooler, and I do have a world speed manifold, which means my torque, mid-range torque, can be a little bit more responsive, I should say, because I'm still running the stock tune, which means I still have the stock power, but because I've got the longer intake runners of the world speed manifold, I have more response. Anyway, let's keep going forward. So there's not much difference here. We can see that I appear to still be squatting a little bit more, and that's going to be down to those shock absorber differences. Keep going forward. Not much difference here. Ooh, you can see he tips his nose in and starts turning, whilst I've got a little bit of a tip in, and he's got a much more aggressive. You can see I'm looking at the rear here. The rear of the GTS is picking up more, and that means he's braking slightly on the front and tipping the nose in. Whereas for me, I'm doing it a little bit, not nearly as aggressively, because I do have softer chocks around, all around. When I brake hard, it's much more noticeable. Well, let's keep going. Oh, you can see I'm braking here, going around the apex, and he's not braking. There we go, he started braking now, and you can see we're both about perpendicular in line with the camera here at this point, so not much of a difference. Although if you look at the shadows, you can see that my shadow is on the other side of the flag compared to the GTS. He appears to be in line with the flag, so I've got a little bit of a lead going on here, a little bit of a forward position. But here's where things start going wrong for me. If you watch the video closely, you'll notice that I actually fell behind during the run, and this is where it all starts to go wrong. If we pause the video right about here, you can see my rear wheel is just in front of this flag, and the flag is just behind the rear bumper, so he's more to the right than I am at this point, which means I've gone wide. I've gone far off to the left, and he has not gone far off to the left. He's gone for a much tighter line closer towards the flag. And this could be good for me, but unfortunately I screwed up. You can also compare slightly if you look at if I put the mouse at the front of the tire, it lines up with this little mini in the background here. And if I put it here, it's pretty much lined up in the same position. So he's gained back what I had pulled. I pulled ahead a little bit, and he's gained that distance back here already, coming into this first flag. You can see I've started rotating immediately here on the left. I've got a little bit of a handbrake squeal going on, and the car has started rotating whilst he hasn't used the handbrake as aggressively, and he's just started turning normally. And this is where it all goes wrong for me. You can see I'm already parallel. Is it parallel or perpendicular? I'm getting them mixed up, aren't I? I'm pretty sure it's perpendicular. I'm perpendicular on with the camera here. I got it wrong earlier. And that's because that aggressive handbrake turn, because I'm trying to get the car pointing, I'm going to get it around the flag and pointing it forwards. This is good in theory, but I've executed it poorly, unfortunately, here. And you'll see why in a second. Because he isn't sliding, he's maintaining speed. And as we come around the corner, you'll notice the entirety of the GTS is moving to the right. It's moving forward. Whereas with my car, you'll notice that the front becomes stationary in regards to the camera, and the rear swings around. Now this is where I'm losing time. And you can see he's already ahead of the flag from the camera's perspective and much closer to the flag. So there's a bit of a gap. I'm off near the grass. I've gone wide essentially, and I'm sliding too much. And we can see it here in a second. Right there. If I play this back and forth, you see I'm swinging the rear around. And he's not swinging the rear around, he's driving out of the corner. Two very different things, and this is gaining the GTS time. He's ahead of me now. He's about parallel with the flag on the outskirts, whilst I'm still a meter behind. And that looks pretty fun, so we'll swing that. Whoop, swinging it around. You can see it right here. Right here, the front of E2, E3 on the left isn't moving in relation to the camera, whilst E2 on the right, the front is moving, and that's because he's pulling out of the corner here. And we can see here he's just in front of the flag there, whilst I'm still dealing with that oversteer event. I'm still sliding out of the corner. That's bad. So whabam, he's already like a meter in front of me. And that's no good. So I screwed up this corner big time. It looks cool though. It looked cool in the video, but unfortunately that lost me a lot of time. Now I am positioned. The positioning is good as far as a corner exit, because I'm very close to the flag here, but unfortunately, because I wasted time sliding, it's just not good enough. Just not good enough. I needed to keep the power on the front wheels going around that handbrake turn. I wanted to swing it around too much. And we can see the error of my ways right about here. Here's a good point. So here, his rear tire is just in front of that flag there, and I'm not even half in front of half of the car in front of that flag there. So a solid what is that, meter and a half, 2 meter advantage here to E2. He's ahead of me now. He's on track to do a lower time. And this continues in. You can see it's pretty interesting here. So he's tipping the front in, essentially. He's going, whilst going around the corner towards the top flag, started braking a little bit. That's getting the weight transfer onto the front. That's very good for engaging grip. And that's when the rear tires are past that flag. Let's see what I do at that point when my rear tires are just past that flag. Am I tipping it in? Yep, I'm tipping it in at the same point. And right here as well, we can see the difference in our suspension setups. I said earlier, my dampers are very soft. And this allows me to tip in very aggressively. Tipping in gets the weight transfer in. And you can see the rear inner wheel is off the ground. That means the entire weight of the car is on 3 wheels rather than 1. So these 3 wheels now have more traction than they normally would. Or more potential traction, I should say, because all the weight of the car is only on 3 wheels rather than being distributed among 4 wheels. And you can see that with E2, well, his suspension doesn't allow essentially the wheels to come up off the ground during aggressive cornering. And that's just down to a difference in setup, essentially. But what this means is I can deploy the secret of my wheel alignment, which is very aggressive toe out on the rear. By having the inner wheel off the ground and this wheel pointing outwards, the rear likes to rotate a little bit more, which is a damn good thing in Motorkhana. Keeping forward, you can clearly see the flag position. It's in the middle of my car and it's at the rear of his car. He's ahead a fair bit here. And let's continue around. Oh yeah, I've still got that inner rear wheel off the ground. I'm maintaining that front weight transfer, which is very good. Very good. And we can see, it's come back down on the ground. We're both tipping it in quite aggressively. I've made up time here. I'm actually a little bit ahead, although we're meant to be doing a handbrake around this flag. So I've essentially overshot this corner in an attempt to make up time. I've caught up to him at this frame, but I've overshot. And you can see how tight he is to this flag here. This is very good driving by E2 here, and a little bit too aggressive driving by me. I'm trying to make up for lost time. Not that I'm trying to go as fast as I can, I should say, but I don't know that I've lost time compared to E2 at this point, because we don't run runs at the same time. So, and we can see where my mistake continues right around here. So we're both rotating. I've caught up to him and we're both rotating at the same time. We can see the angles of the car very similar, but the difference is our positions compared to the flags. E2 here, he's already turning around the flag. He's very close to the flag. This is very good driving here, or very good Motorkhana driving. He's right on that flag, very close to it, positioning well. Whilst I'm driving the same way, I'm positioning well, but I'm, what is that, 1.5 meters away from the flag. I came in too hot, and I'm making a mistake here. Unfortunately, because I'm driving in the same way, it's not a huge mistake. I'm not gaining back anything that I've lost to him, but because of my positioning here, not getting close to that flag, I'm not recovering that time that I've lost here. So let's keep going a bit more, swinging it around, and you can see it here as well. He's doing a little bit more swing. The E2 on the right here is swinging a little bit more, so that's costing him time there. And again, another clear indicator, the flag is halfway along the car. He's still turning though. He's still turning, and this is where I can gain back time a little bit, because he's gone wide towards the right, whereas I went wide towards the rear. So I've managed to rotate, or do most of my rotation here. And now I can power out of the corner. There we go. So I've a little bit of rotation. Yeah, we're getting pretty similar times for finishing our rotation and then getting on the power going straight. That's when you can put the power down and actually accelerate the car rather than putting the power into rotating the car. So very similar there. We catch up. However, again, we pause it right here. I'm further back, because I'm still coming into the corner here. I'm still coming into the corner, whereas he's perpendicular with the camera or in line with the camera. I'm definitely mixing that up. He's parallel with the camera, in line with the camera, and is at the apex, essentially. His E2 is at the apex, whereas I'm still before the apex. That positioning, I've driven the same way as E2 here, but because I positioned myself away from the flag, I haven't gained back that time. You can see here both clean. I've got a little bit, oh, it's a little bit hard to tell, but you can see I've got a little bit more body roll, and that's due to my softer front sway bar. And that's very important for getting that the weight transfer onto the front there again. Don't mind the little edit going on there. Ooh, and you can see here he's just E2 is clipping the flag there, or in front of the flag as the camera is, and I'm still behind it. So I haven't gained back or lost any time that I did from the first handbrake turn, but this is where things get interesting. Coming into the corner, you can see me on the left here. I'm very straight going in towards the corner. Whereas E2 on the right here, you can see he's already started rotating. It's much more aggressive. This is the mistake I made on that first hairpin, is just being too aggressive and rotating, spending too much time sliding. Sliding is losing forward momentum, or it's spending forward momentum to go out it's ejecting that power out to the side, which you don't want to do. You need that forward power. So you can see he's rotating very aggressively there, and then when the middle of the car is pretty much, what is that? Parallel? No, now it's perpendicular. So E2 here is perpendicular when the middle of that pole is in the middle of the car in the background. And let's look at E on the right. You can see, there we go. The pole is in the middle, about in the middle of the car. I'm not perpendicular. I'm still, the front of the car is closer to the camera than the rear of the car. So I've taken a much shallower entrance into this hairpin here than E2 on the right. And let's see how that goes, because you can see here the rear of the car is almost, it looks like it is. Yeah, the rear of the car is closer to the camera than the front. So he's begun rotating very soon. Very soon. And this is where it's a bit tricky. Ooh, wow, he's getting a lot of compression there. There's a lot of compression on that rear outer tire there. That's quite interesting. That'll be the difference in our sway bars, because I believe he's got the stock sway bars and I've got a 25mm rear sway bar, so it's very stiff, very good, and that's what's stopping the rear compression, I believe. You can see again he's rotated significantly. He's still a little bit ahead of me, as you can see by the position of that flag in the background. Is it a flag or a pole? Anyway, and here's where his mistake comes up from all that aggressive entry. If we stop at about here, you can see he's gone wide. There's that what I did in the first hairpin, he's doing it now in the third hairpin. He's about 1.5 meters, I'm only about 1 meter. And he's out of frame of the camera. The camera hasn't moved position in relation to the course. So he's gone wide here. He's gone wide. He's more angled towards coming out of the corner than I am at this point. So it still looks like he's ahead, but he's losing speed right now because of all this rotating and because of going wide sliding. It's the sliding that's losing time here. And you can see my rotation. It's a little bit tricky, but if you look at the rear of the car in relation to the front of the car here, you can see the rear is doing a lot more movement than the front. And that's where sliding is killing time here. And if we look at E3, me on the left here, the front and the rear, the front of the car and the rear of the car, they maintain the same amount of movement. And that means the body of the car isn't sliding, and it's translating any application of power into forward movement rather than sliding movement. So you can see E3 on the left here, it didn't go out of frame of camera, which meant I stayed close to the flag. And we can see it really obviously here, how the shadow of E3 is covering up the base of that flag. It's much closer. I'm within a meter, I think, of the flag here. Whereas E2, on the other hand, he's gone wide because of all that sliding. And he's easily 1.5 meters, maybe 2 meters away from the flag. His shadow is nowhere near the flag. And now we can see clearly by looking at this, the pole in the background, this pole is right around the rear of the, in between the rear of the front tire, whereas the pole here, it's well behind. It's behind the mirror even. So I've immediately gained back time here. I've jumped ahead and E2 has lost time, like I did on the first hairpin. Very well executed here. If I could have done this execution here on all 3 of the hairpins, it would have been, I reckon I could have gone maybe like a what is it, a 17.4, something like that. Either way, we can see immediately there, I'm at the front wheel is at the flag there, very close, and I've got a wheel ahead. I've got a wheel ahead of E2. Huge time gain. Let's see, so we'll just go through that. We come in here and you can see E2 on the right, going wide, spending time sliding, no good. Whereas E3 on the left, I've kept it really tight to the flags, like E2 did at the other two corners, essentially. Swing it around, and then on the out of the corner, nothing too fancy. Although I think it looks like I'm sliding a little bit. I believe I'm right on the limit of the tire slip angle here, getting maximum amount of cornering whilst accelerating. And we can see, let's go to this middle flag right there. Yes. So here's the middle flag close to the camera, and you can see my nose is right there on it, and E2 is well behind it. So I'm almost a car's length ahead. And this is essentially coming out, so that last hairpin and this final jump to the finish line is what brought me back from being behind E2. Very, very tight stuff. We can see coming around. I'm maintaining the angle as well. You can see I've got because I'm going around a right-hand corner, the body is leaning to the left as I've got quite soft damping. And that's important for getting the grip on the car. And that also, because the angle of the car is, the lean of the car has maintained constant around this corner, it's easier to see that I've maintained a steady cornering force. Steady cornering force. Let's go back through it. Oh, there's a little bit of an upset there, but you can see, yeah, I tipped the nose in, so a little bit of brakes. I'm looking at the left here, just watching the front suspension there. And we can see there, right there, a little bit of a tip in to get a little bit more grip on the front, tipping that weight over it, just because it is a right-hand corner, but still maintaining that lean, which means I'm maintaining a cornering force right on the limit of the tire's grip. And then it maintains that lead all the way in until the braking point for coming into the finish garage. And this is where things get interesting. You notice E2, let's compare the E2's lean. So he's got that lean coming out of the corner here, and then he brakes there for some reason. Ah, I see. So E2 looks like he's gone a little bit wide, and he's worried about getting too close to that flag there. So you can see he's dipping his nose down just a little bit there as he goes past that flag, because he wants to try and not slide into that flag. And that's costing speed here, and we'll see that in a second here. Because that means this is the corner exit now. The apex was right here, and so he's exiting the corner much earlier than the actual exit of the corner. You can see I've got that body lean going on. I'm still going around the corner. Whereas he's already decided to end the corner and start straight line to the finish. And that's a mistake. That is another mistake. But I mean, it's better than hitting the flag, to be honest. If it was needed to avoid the flag, then it is what it is. But if we continue through here, ooh, yeah, looking at the left there, you can see I'm maintaining full acceleration of the vehicle. Maintaining full acceleration of the vehicle. And we look at the pole here, the big pole in the background there. My front wheels are pretty much in line. The headlight, let's look at the headlight. The headlight's right in line with that pole. My car's all the way over here. He's well, like a full car length behind now. But the interesting thing is, I'm still accelerating here. I haven't started applying the brakes. I'm about to start applying the brakes, but I haven't applied the brakes just yet. But if we look at E2, or if we watch both cars, essentially, there we go. E2, the nose is dipping in. So you can see, well, bam. When he's at the pole, with the headlight at the pole, he's already started braking for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he's already started braking. So you can tell he's braking because the weight transfer has occurred, and then the front suspension has started compressing. Whereas if we look at E3 on the left, you can see there's the pole, the body's still flat, and afterwards, right around here, you can see the nose dipping down after the pole. Right about there is pretty much the same point. So I've started braking where this black four-wheel drive is. So my braking point is over here, and his braking point is over here. So I'm not sure why he started braking early coming into the stop garage, but again, this is E2 losing time here. And E3 is just gaining time. Very good. Anyway, so we keep going on into the garage, and we can see I've got the nose compressed the whole time, so that's steady braking. And let's look at E2. It kind of looks like he lets off the brake there, yeah, just here. So you can see the nose compresses down, but then it comes up a little bit. So you can see E2, he lets off the brakes a little bit for some reason. And that's good because it means his average speed over this little section here is going to be a little bit higher. But still an odd choice. And we can see there's the little laser beam there, over there, on these little triangle things on the right. And you can see, where is it? Yep, there we go. I just crossed through it right there, and he's still behind. Then for some odd reason, I'm still braking. I've essentially got maximum braking all the way into the garage, whereas he let off the brakes and then slowed down to a little bit and came to a stop all the way over there. You have to stop in the garage, so that's still in the garage. It still counts. Either way, that was the run comparing the two. Very interesting, because it just shows how important every single corner in Motorkhana is. It's so easy to gain time and lose time here or there, and it's only 17, 18 seconds, less than 20 seconds. You got to piece every single thing together in that short amount of time. It's crazy. I love Motorkhana, and this is what it's all about. Just all this losing the time here. Let's replay this bit. Woohoo! Sliding the ass out. Very good. I got a good handbrake turn here. So where's the handbrake? Handbrake's about here, which resulted in this brilliant little slide here. Whee! Swinging the ass around. Either way, thanks for watching. That was quite fun. Oh yeah, get that three-wheel action. Tipping it in. Ah, that would have been good. That could have been good, but I didn't lose time on that second one. Very good. Either way, thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to check out the playlist in the description for more videos from this event, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.